Important Podcast.
Yo, welcome back to the We Important Podcast, Season 3, Episode 3. I'm here with my boy, Harry.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another We Important episode, Season 3, Episode 3. We got Vince Nerone on with us today.
What's going on, everybody? My bad. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you totally fucked up this whole episode.
Yeah,
the most important person in the world, Vince Nerone.
Starting off strong.
Please, Vince, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about what makes you important.
All right, so
the most important.
My name is Vince Nerone. I'm an artist from Cleveland, Ohio. I got a new band that we just started up about a year ago. What makes me important is probably, the team of people I've put together recently. Well, not even that recently, I guess. But, the people I've surrounded myself with, the ability to create people who just help me a lot with everything I'm doing, and just really talented people. I think that's what's pretty much made me important, I guess, so to speak, as of now.
So you're an artist. What specific genre are you part of now?
That's a tough question. I get that a lot. It bounces around a lot. I think as far as the band is concerned, we do a lot of like pop punk. It could even go to rock. It's a lot of your like Blink-182 or like New Age Machine Gun Kelly. You can go Green Day even, or even more rock. My guitar, one of my guitar players has a lot of like metal influence, Avenged Sevenfold, stuff like that. So we kind of branch around a lot of different rock genres. But also there's the other side of more of like a rap HipHop, which Queasy and different people out from my last 9 years and stuff like that is what I was kind of mainly focusing on. That's kind of where the roots were, and then it's kind of branched out into this new thing.
All right, so let's slow down here. Let's rewind here. Let's take it back a little bit, okay? Mm-hmm. We're going to go back. Let's take us to the start. Take us to the beginning. Take us to before music. What was the thing that pointed you in that direction? What are the things that inspired you to go into music? And how did you start?
Music was mad random for me. My sister was actually like the more of the singer figure. But, I guess if I really look back, we always would mess around and sing karaoke songs, messing around growing up. I loved music. I loved different artists, Eminem and stuff like that, and Drake.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ, sounds like a train outside.
I don't fucking know what that is.
Hey, you just gotta roll with the punches.
I like how everybody's like, are we good?
Is there a train around here?
No, there's definitely just a trolley that drives in the hallway.
All right. Anyway.
What an asshole.
Perfect timing.
You can't make this shit up. It's all right.
So yeah, I never really had a super big urge to be if you would have asked me when I was 14 or 15 if I'm going to do music, I would have been like, nah. But when I was 16, my buddy, actually Jerome, we were driving out to this little lake house spot, and he was writing a rap, and I was like, man, what? And I just tried it. And I was literally from that moment on, I've just been writing rap and hip hop music. And, I have a sort of a voice that's a little bit unique, I think. And melodies that I can do that I've found through just that starting point. And it's kind of just grew, from just writing song after song after song and working with different people. And, Queasy's one of 200 people I've ever worked with, so from, writing just a million songs for people, for myself, that it just turned into more and more and more and grew from itself.
So I think it's an interesting thing that you started off kind of solo and then moved into a band, because a lot of people, I feel, well, especially when I think more of the rock culture, right? They start in bands and everyone goes off into their solo careers. So what's the benefits of going from solo, doing hip hop, doing rap, then rolling into a band and really knowing that this is a group understanding when you produce music? And how has it changed you?
Good question, Harry. Proud of you.
Yeah, so 9 years, I would say it was just me. And then I met Jack and Schiff, which those are my managers from Say Less Entertainment. They run. And I think Jacqueline came to me and said, you want to make a band? And that was pretty much the start of it. We decided I think we booked a show before we even had anybody in the band, like a month out. And so we had to find a band in a month, learn the material, and do this show. At the time, I would have never known, but the benefits to having this is it's a team. I think a lot of artists these days lack that. It's accountability. There's so many benefits to having so many different minds. There's opinions. There's consultation between so many people. Our team right now would be, Jack and Schiff. I got my 5-piece band, including myself, and then I have a producer, Ep.3. And because there's so many people working towards goals, and we're very serious about it, strict about it, and it's created a business mindset and everything. And I think if you look at local talent these days, they don't have that business mindset. It's more or less, I make music, I'm an artist. And if you ask them, well, where do you think this is going? Well, I hope it goes here. If not, I just do it for fun. I love it, which is cool. Like, I understand that, but it's really, really hard to make it in music. And if you don't have a plan and people backing you and like all these different ideas, even with all that, you might not make it. It's just such an oversaturated market. Like, you better be ready, to get involved and really do what you got to do, set goals and meet those goals. And with the team of people, everyone's accountable, and there's so many different people to add their input. Granted, I like to make a lot of the final decisions, but I'm also very open to everyone's opinions being very important. Because someone needs to kind of decide, where is this ship headed? But at the same time, everyone has really solid things that help me build as a person by like a long shot.
So did the band, the members of the band, were they already individual collaborators of yours? Had you worked with all the pieces of the band on different occasions? No. So how did those pieces fall apart? Like, how did the band come together?
Dibby is our lead guitar. I mean, I guess he's not technically lead guitar, but he does more of the lead parts, I would say. He always followed my music. He loved my stuff, and I saw him posting a video on Instagram one time. And I just hit him up. Like I said, we were hard-pressed to find some people. Mm-hmm. So he was the first person. I think Jacqueline knew Nico through a studio. He's the drummer. So she found him. And then we had my buddy Steve at first, which was my bass player at the time. And then we ran through like a couple drummers until not drummers. We had Nico. And this dude Davey, who was the other guitar. And that was just for the first show. Some certain things didn't work out with Davey, and Steve couldn't do it because of work, and so then we ended up finding Alex, who knows Nico from work, and Artie was in Guitar Center. My dad actually said, he's like, you should go find someone from Guitar Center. I'm like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. And
hey, some of them Guitar Center dads be fucking it up in there though. Like, they'll hit the smoke on the water crazy. Yeah. Like, every white dad knows that fucking.
I 100% know that. If you could hand me a guitar, bro. And what color are you behind the camera? White. It's the easiest one.
Everybody know that.
Yeah. So I go into Guitar Center not to get a guitar player. I needed like chords and something else. I don't know. And the dude was in there. He seemed like a cool guy. I think he was showing me a speaker. And I was just like, yeah, actually, we're looking for a guitar player. Turns out I took my dad's advice, I guess. And he liked the music. And then the following Thursday, we have rehearsal every Thursday. The following Thursday, not that one. I think it was Thursday right before rehearsals. He didn't come that day. But the following one, he ended up showing up. And ever since, that's Artie, my guy Artie. And then Alex is on the bass. And that's pretty much how the band came to be.
Very cool. So you talked about one of the benefits of coming from a solo to becoming a group is this business mindset. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody in particular that you can, point to that has instilled that in the group, or was that something that you brought to the table? Because I know that being a creative myself, and some of the things that I've seen, some of my favorite creators or some of the people that I admire, like, for instance, Rick Rubin. Yeah. Who I think if you're in music, if you're creative at all, I think Rick Rubin is somebody you should absolutely look toward for inspiration. Yeah. He's like a guru. He's like a fucking monk with that shit. And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't play any instruments. He doesn't really produce anything. He's been cited saying that all he really does is
consultation.
He's opinionated, and he trusts his gut, and that's what he brings to the table. But I know that, like, a lot of people like to believe that if you're an artist and you're working on something creative, that you have to focus on that project or that product, and the marketing or the business side of it has to be completely separate. It's almost like a completely different thing happening in your brain, and you can't do them both simultaneously.
I would like to get away from that. I mean, I guess at the stage I'm at, first of all, Jacqueline and Schiff being...
Are they the ones that bring that to the
Yes
table?
and no. I mean, definitely, yes. But also, I love being involved with everything and seeing how it can grow and seeing how the business side of things take off, whether it's the money or whatever it is that's apart from the product of just the music. I like to be involved with all that. But yeah, Jacqueline and Schiff, I mean, clearly they, when you have a manager and somebody working on the back end of things, it does add more structure that I didn't have time for as much, or they also are pretty well connected with different things. And, Jacqueline does a lot of good stuff on the production side that was able to help elevate certain things, whether it's videos or photo shoots, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, as far as business goes, I love all that stuff. I like to be involved, but again, moving forward, I'd like to take a lot of that away because it is stressful as much as I'd like to be involved in it. It's it definitely is, it's going to be a spectrum of how much business to how much creative stuff I'm working on. And you get overwhelmed with all the stuff that's on my plate right now. But thankfully I have those guys and again, the team, and we're trying to build and find the avenues where we have the least amount of help and fill those spots.
So I think that's very interesting when you get to these points where your main hustle is music because you love it, but then you start to realize there's a whole nother aspect to the industry when you get introduced to it, the business aspect. And if you don't have that business mindset, you're going to fall flat on your face. Right. Can you talk a little bit about the hard work and all this shit behind the scenes that people don't see that comes from the business mindset that you need to make it as an artist?
The biggest thing that I feel like a lot of artists are lacking in is the ground game. It's, working with actual venues, actually going out there and performing and taking control of that event, right? You need to look at it okay, this is an event. What's the product? It's us. It's selling tickets. It's getting people to fill it up. And the most important with running a business is you want to create winning relationships with anybody you're working with. So for example, whether it's the Grog Shop or Brothers Lounge or Hatfields, places that we
or the We Important Podcast.
Or the We Important Podcast. That's exactly right. Anybody I'm working with, it's never what can I get from these people? It's always what can we get together, building together. That's the most important thing because that's what has them calling you back, right? And you can get caught up in the little petty things of where you might not have got as much, or you wish you was more even, but it doesn't matter as long as you got, you're moving forward, right? You don't want to get caught up in the pettiness of it all. It's easy to do that, but there's so many business things. And just keeping track of your records, how many tickets were sold. Okay, we started with 85 tickets sold. Next show was 135. Next show was 185. And these are real numbers. And I know this because it's important to keep track. It's important to know.
I'm a numbers guy myself. Big on them.
Yeah.
The data doesn't lie.
Big on them.
It's true.
Huge.
And every time business aspect of things presents problems that need to be solved. And there's a million problems if I look a year down the road. I'll be overwhelmed. Right. But if I look at, for example, we just did our Grog Shop show. And actually, this is another funny point, but I'll get to it after. When you're working on that Grog Shop show, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I got vocal training. I got what are the songs in the set. I got outreach to make sure people actually show up to this place so we have a good name for the Grog Shop and whoever we're working in for that matter. And then when that's all gone and the show is done, usually, first of all, I'm negative on everything because I'm always looking at things that could have been better. But that's besides the point. But when everything's gone and you're done with that, now it's I almost feel anxious. I'm oh shit, now where do I go? Because you lost that aim. So it's what's the next aim? And then once I figure my sights on the next aim, that's the most important thing to work on for me to focus on, and where everyone else in the team has their aim to focus on. Then I can be comfortable again and just get back in the pocket of what I'm working on. So I guess that's kind of the business thing that I've kind of learned.
So where do you feel people, specifically Cleveland artists, go wrong where they don't make it? The people that get the traction and they fall flat on their face and can't get back up.
Exactly where I was for the last 9 years before meeting these guys. And yeah, I guess you just make music, you put it out, you hope for the best. Maybe you pay a person to put ads out for you. It's the same cycle, and you hope that you get a big hit somewhere. It's it's almost like just wishful thinking all the time, and continue to make your product better. And you do grow as an artist by just continuing to create, but it's fantasy land to think that people are just going to decide that because I'm a good artist anyway, even if it is a good song, that they're just going to gravitate to me anyway. Right. Like even if if it's a really, really good catchy song and it blows up, fine. But like, it's a better chance that if you slowly build this organic fan base through actually going out there into these people. Like, I made tons of relationships with people who come to my shows. I could tell you the regulars that I never knew in my life until I started coming to the shows. There's probably, 50 to 80 people who come to almost every show. And that's building, and that's somewhere to build from. And those people are going to tell these people, and these people are going to, you know what I'm saying? And that's a better route for me personally than just continuing to put a song out into the ether and praying that it pops.
Right.
Can't put a price tag on a loyal fan, man, especially the people that stick through it from the ground up.
Right.
For sure. I think what you're illustrating is how young creatives, artists, musicians, whatever, you have to not only focus on your craft and making the best product that you can make, but also carving out the lanes for people to find you, for people to access that shit. And making that can be creative. And I think that's the thing that people fail to realize. Like, my big thing with everything is, like, art is everywhere. You can use art for commercial use. Mm-hmm. So if you're an artist, why not make more art to promote your art?
Right.
That's what you do anyway. Just fucking play to your strengths is what I would say. My next question, I think I was gonna, before I ask about your overall aspirations, I want to dive into... What do I want to dive into? I just forgot.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, as you're collecting that thought, I mean, another thing with what you were saying is, like, as creatives and stuff like that, like where we are, you're missing out on a huge chunk of that growth by not performing. There's so many people who don't perform. They're just like they're behind the computer screen artists, or in the basement or in their room artists, and they think that they could do it all by the internet. But the amount of growth, like, to take the first step to do your first show with a band with a month. I told Jacqueline the day, I'm like, I don't think we could do this again. I'm too anxious. I'm too nervous. And there's 85 people who show up just to see me. I didn't have an opener. They're there to see our band. I'd never done a show before with the band in my life. How
long was the show?
It was, I think, 12 songs. And I just did it. And all I got was beautiful replies. It was the most, like, I had a smile on my face for like 3 days straight after that shit. And I told Jacqueline after the show, I'm like, we got to do this again. When can we do this again? And that's the thing, like, jumping off that ledge is such an important part of this process. And, like, performing in front of, like, we just had probably 275 to 300 people at the Grog Shop, which is a big show for a local artist like us. You do not see local people pulling out crowds like that, in general. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not like some big shot or anything, but local speaking, that's a pretty big achievement. And to be able to stand in front of that many people and people are singing along my songs, or even like doing a cover and just the whole people are just all singing it with you and the band's playing, like, that's like a beautiful, beautiful moment you don't want to miss out on. Like, I encourage everybody who wants to get up on that stage, you're going to be like shitty at it for sure at first. Like, I did like rap shows 3 or 4 before I even hopped on the stage with the band, and even the band show, like, so there's going to be a ton of, like, actually this is a fool on my arm. It's supposed to be, you have to be willing to be the fool before you can become the master. And that's the whole point. Like get up there, be an asshole, be a fool, and then next thing you know, you're going to be up there and people are going to be vibing and you're going to be like having the time of your life. And that's the message that every artist needs to hear.
It reminds me of the quote, you need to fail in order to understand what it takes to win. One thing I am curious about, have you had to deal with any negativity from people? Have you had to deal with, like, that one person that just, I guess the word's troll? Like, because, when you start to grow, especially your brand starts to expand, you're going to get those people that just don't want to see you succeed. It's yin and yang, So have you had to deal with that yet? And if you haven't, how do you think you are going to be able to deal with it?
When I first started rapping in high school, I could say I dealt with that a little bit. Like, a certain group of people, when I was in high school, made like a joking fan page about me. A little bit of bullying, not a big deal. Other than that, I mean, you get your occasional, like, TikTok video or, like, something that, like, people want to just shit post on. But at the end of the day, I just know that if you're going to say some negative shit like that, what are you doing? Like, imagine, like, I actually made a TikTok about this. Imagine, like, you, like, going out of your way to say something negative about something someone else is doing. Like, even if you really felt something was shitty, why would you do that? So to me, I'm like, what a weirdo. Like, why'd you say that? Like, it's just a weird thing to do. So like, yeah, maybe I've dealt with some negativity. Mostly it's been really good. But anybody who is that negative person, it just like, I honestly feel bad for that person more than I take it to heart.
Hey, yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, all press is good press.
Right. And that's
Like-
true too.
Right.
Very true.
What I was gonna say before, I blanked, but I remember now.
Good. That's what we wanted.
Right. Thanks for
This
buying
guy,
me that time.
this
guys.
guy fucking
Thank
sucks.
you.
There you go.
I said that before we get into the overall aspirations for your career and everything, I wanted to talk about a big thing that you accomplished recently, and that was winning Battle of the Land.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that experience and just what that's done for the trajectory of your career thus far?
That's a great point to add to the whole business
Thanks.
thing.
I'd see it was worth the wait.
No, this is great.
You're brilliant.
Thank you.
The Battle of the Lands was awesome because I think it was like a month or two before it, we made an action plan pretty much. I have like a whiteboard in my basement I purposely bought so that we could have during our Thursday rehearsals, if we have something we want to work on, we can make an action plan on the whiteboard and talk about it and really discuss it. And we had I think 3 goals. I can't remember exactly what they were. It's pretty much like outreach and planning, similar to any show you do, pretty much getting people to show up. And, the goal at the end of it on my whiteboard from 3 months or 2 months before the Battle lands to the end of it was win the Battle lands, obviously. Clearly that's the end goal. Right. And to do the steps we did and be on ass, I'm an on-ass person. People love me or hate me for that. If you're working with me, like...
On ass?
Like I'm on your ass. Like, that's
I've
kind of a
never
weird way
heard
to put
that,
it.
bro.
He's persistent about getting people to engage with that.
Yeah, like my team knows that like I'm a straight shooter. I'm very blunt. I'm very honest. And when I have plans and I want everybody to be on the same page, and usually they are. I work with amazing people. I really do.
It's like on ass.
Yeah, I'm on
You're
your
going to be
ass.
on my ass?
Yeah, pause. Anyway.
Unpause.
So, but yeah, so it was just really cool to like go from the situation of planning this all out step by step and then going up there, and there was 2 days, 1 week separated, and we did the first day. He said we made it. There was 2 people who made it to the final round, and then that big moment where we did our last show. And honestly, it wasn't our best performance. No disrespect to the Tower City, but it's not the greatest acoustic room. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not going to get your top optimal sound quality in there. So like I wasn't most proud of the performance, but bottom line is we came in there to win and have the most people show up for us and support us, and that's what we did. And we won, and we won like fucking $5,000, and we got iHeartRadio interview, and we're still getting a music video, and we got like studio time. So it was a lot of shit we got from that was tough as fuck, and people know us from that. There was like 200 bands and artists who showed up, and we won. So yeah, I mean, it was fucking dope.
So now that you've got momentum going, one thing I am curious about is, do you have any people that weren't with the picture at first, and now that they finally see it, because you have momentum, you have good stuff going for you, they want to hop back on? Have you had that happen yet, where people from the past are trying to come back? And it's
I mean, it's really I don't mind that too much. I've had tons of artists who want to work with me recently, more than ever, for sure. They see the videos of us having big crowds, and that makes sense. I mean, if I was an artist and I knew me from however long ago, or not even people who knew me and worked with me, but like new people who say they've been wanting to work for me for a long time, and I don't mind that. And I don't work with those people, not because I don't fuck with them, because they're just, you only reached out for me, not for the clout. That's not at all. It's just I'm very, very busy with these guys, like the team and stuff. Like we have a very intentional, thank you, Schiff, from earlier for that word, very intentional idea of what we want to do, and we have a lot of shit we're working on. We're working on a 9-song rock album that, we're all like Artie produces, pre-produces, Dibby produces, a lot of it. There might be like 2 YouTube beats on there, I think, but mainly it's our in-house project. So we're working on that. I have a hip-hop R&B that's coming out before summer, and and I prioritize my team. Like, it's no disrespect, and unless you're an artist who's gonna like honestly benefit the business of this Vince Nerone, it's no disrespect. It's just not worth my time. It's just a lot of stress and time to work with people. It just is, and that's just the bottom line, honest truth. And if you want to work with me, bring something to the table, just like I'm trying to bring something to the table for these venues, or I'm trying to bring something to the table with you guys. It's a win-win. Hopefully you guys get views and I get views and we get better. Like, that's the thing. So when people come and reach out to me, I appreciate it. I really do, but I don't have time right now. That's it.
Help me help you.
Yeah, right.
So now let's get into the what's the end goal? What's the big, if everything could happen perfectly, what does it look like at the end of the day for you, for the band?
Well, I genuinely love the people I'm working with. I'm having the time of my life. Like every Thursday we rehearse, the best day of the week. You know, I get to see these guys. You know, Shift's going to Mexico, so he won't be here this week. But you know, when these guys come around, I really, really love these people. They're awesome, awesome people. If you guys can come to anytime you want. We have open rehearsal Thursdays, so we can perform in front of people every week, and you'll get to know them. And there's no way you wouldn't like them. They're just really likable people, and the end goal is to blow up, hopefully, and be able to. All of the motherfuckers have money, you know what I mean, and be able to do what they want, quit their jobs, and I quit my job, and we all, you know, remember where we came from to where we are now, and hopefully it's somewhere crazy. Like that's the end goal. And obviously, I want to do music. I mean, that's what we're all doing. You know, we're having an amazing time because of that, and that's what I want. I want everybody who's working with me to win, and I love those guys, and I want to share the future with them, I guess.
That's what's up. I think it's cool that when you won a Battle of the Lands, it gives you a moment to smell the roses, to see how far you've come over the 9 years, but your head's right back down, back to work. You know, it's like, that moment of glory is great, but I want bigger than this.
Right.
So that's fucking awesome to see.
We love that.
You guys are doing a great job, I got to say.
I mean,
crushing it.
Fuck, okay, thank you.
You guys are. I mean, seriously.
You know,
thanks, dude.
I think one more thing. You briefly touched on this, but just like influences. I know you mentioned... You know, you mentioned the comparison to the music that you're making to like Blink-182. Eminem was a big influence when you're doing the hip hop stuff. But is there anybody that you want to cite specifically that influenced all of this? I
mean, I went through eras of taking influence from a lot of people. Like, I love Juice WRLD so much. Like, I didn't replicate his sound, but I was a big influence on my sound probably 4 years ago. And, I mean, Trippie Redd, too, like, he influenced that, like, kind of melodic sound. I think you were kind of around during that time where it got a little more, like, hip-hop-y and melodic. But it's definitely, I've always had my own sound because my voice sounds weird. Like, I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have this voice that's like a little bit of a higher end, and it's got its own flavor to it. So it's like, I can never really sound like somebody else, but I definitely have influence from people. Even like MGK, I grew up on Blink-182. I grew up on Green Day. Even my dad, though, back in the hip-hop shit, he was listening to the fucking, like, Ghetto Boys and NWA, all that shit. Like, so that hip-hop shit I grew up on that shit, and pop-punk, and rock, Metallica. So I'm very, you know, I have so many influences. I'm a melting pot of influences that kind of just created what I do now. But at the end of the day, I make what I make. It always ends up being, like, some mental health shit. I have no idea why. Probably just because, like, I use it as a vent, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I have, you know, I struggled with anxiety in the past and stuff like that I've grown out of a lot, and different mental health things that I've gone with. And I can relate to people pretty well, I feel like, and understand other people's emotions. I have, like, a feminine aspect as far as, like, being more on the emotional spectrum and more agreeable, I would say, to an extent. And so I feel like I can interact well with and be relatable in my lyrics and the things I talk about. Yeah, that was my influence, and my influences are really sporadic, but usually it's mainly just me. I don't know.
Well, I love that, and I can attest to, you know, being around early on when you were before the band and all that stuff, and just seeing you lock in, like, in the basement with your own setup, with your own mic, all that stuff, and it would be you, and you would have, I mean, folders full of, if not complete songs, like ideas, concepts, all types of shit. And you would pull one out and be like, what do you think about this? I think your voice would sound cool on this and all that shit. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, this man really downstairs producing his own shit, you know, mixing it himself, writing himself. Yeah, I mean, it's actually incredible to see that you made it this far already. You know?
Well, what's mad dope about all that, imagine adding a band to the mix of 4 other nuts talented people who, like, I'm not kidding, bro. First of all, everybody in my band can play every single instrument, and they're all really, really good at the instrument they play. And I mean, like, I honestly feel like shadowed by a lot of their musical ability. Like, I think vocally, I'm very confident in my lyrics, you know, and I'm confident in the type of style I have. But as far as, like, musically playing shit and, like, doing stuff, I mean, they're just all really awesome people. And, like, to be able to be in a situation where you're with these creative minds, to feed off that, like, we'll make a song in 30 minutes and it's fucking dope. And it's just fun as hell. Like, it's so fun, dude. I don't really know what else to say about it, but it's crazy, the creativeness.
No, it's nice to hear. You got people, or you got other artists that influenced you, and now you're around artists that continue to influence you every day.
Right.
So we have a portion we got to get to where people you've actually influenced got questions for you, which we call the most important questions from the audience.
Sweet.
So the first one comes from a Jacqueline. Is it Stiffman? Am I getting that right? Stiffman. Bro, I swear to God, I thought I saw a T on there.
Nah, it's Shiftman, but that's cool.
Bro, that was the ad on Instagram.
That's one of my managers, but fair enough. Let's hear it.
Shout her out. How do you think performing live has changed your career?
Yeah, she knows, man. Like, I told her right away, like, I'm mad anxious. It made me grow so much as a talker. Like, when you're up there, it's hard. It was hard to it still is, I guess. It's hard to focus on what you want to say because you're looking out at a crowd of people and you're like, all right, what's the best thing to say? And there's so many places your head goes. So you kind of just spit shit out. You know what I mean? But now I could slow down. I could step back. I could realize we got all show. Relax. Like, whatever comes to your mind. Also, another thing, too, is you don't have to say anything. Like, you can jump from song to song to song, and people are just there to hear your music and see you perform at the end of the day. Like, if you have something good to say, it's good. But almost less words is better. I learned that. And I always want to fucking say a speech between songs. And my dad's like, dude, you don't got to say a speech between every song. And that's such a true point. Like, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, jumping back to, like, you learn so much as an artist by performing. It's such a big aspect. That's what we are. We're performers. Like, you can't just be hiding behind the computer all the time. You need to learn from real life. So that's why I've learned from stage. A bunch of shit.
I love the dude that comes out on stage in the middle of a song, or like in between songs, is like telling us that story about how he walked in on his parents having sex and shit.
What?
Those are the best shows. Those are always the best shows. You ever been?
Dude, right. I've never been to one of those.
Let's keep moving on.
I've been to ones where people just shit the bed on their speech in between.
I've done that.
Dude,
yeah.
No. We're at, it's like the blast off event for Kent.
All right.
Our buddy Keegan got Q a spot. It was sick. It was in front of a crowd, a couple hundred people.
Wait, you were the one who blew the speech?
Dude.
Did I blow the speech?
Is that where this
I wouldn't say he blew it, but if he wore it off. He had all the momentum in the world.
All right.
He had the crowd going. He'd go, blast off. And you'd get tons of people that'd go, blast off.
Yeah.
And that became the thing in between songs.
But that was dope. I mean, it got crowd engagement. Blast off, for people that don't know what the fuck.
Time out. Back up. You're at Kent.
I'm at Kent.
You're doing a show.
Big show. Blast
Outside.
Off Fest.
Really?
It's for all of the freshmen coming in, right? It's like freshman orientation.
This is a big stage?
It's a big stage outside, and there's kids everywhere. There's like a bunch of like tents and shit that they could go to play games. They can win prizes. So it's like a big festival.
Yeah.
There's people everywhere in this big
Kids
lawn.
wanting to college for the first time.
So there's not a lot of people up
How'd you get
near
this
the
gig?
stage, and I'm the opener.
Our buddy Keegan was part of
president
the board of directors.
Is this Keegan Lax?
Yeah.
Okay, I bet.
So,
Good people.
Yeah, so he plugged me with the show. Shout out to Keegan for that. It was a great opportunity. It was a great experience altogether.
Yeah,
Top Gun
sick.
was right after him, I want to say, too.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's sick.
But one of those things that, since you have this big venue, you're outside, there's people everywhere. They're not really near the stage.
Yeah.
You want to engage. I mean, they can hear me everywhere. Yeah. So it's like, I just wanted to do something to let everybody know I'm on stage.
Right.
I'm the guy, you know what I mean? So I was screaming blast off. And there's a call,
You got that dope ass low voice.
Thank
Kid Cudi sound on that new track. We got a little track. I'm not gonna talk more about it, but we got that Kid Cudi vibe on there for real.
Yeah, but so I was screaming out blast off to have like a call and response so that everybody can engage, even though I didn't want people to feel pressured to come up to the stage. I don't know what the fuck they was doing out there. They're doing freshman orientation.
I hate that.
So that had everybody kind of tune in, even if it was for that 1 second, just to say blast off back.
You
to
screamed that?
I screamed it like 40 times out of the show. It was a long show. It was very hot.
How many songs you do?
No, well, here's the thing. He
probably
had
like 10.
It was a long set.
He didn't have 10 songs though.
Yeah, I did.
You had to write 48 hours out. How many songs did you have? Or
I had all the songs.
You didn't memorize them, was it?
They just weren't recorded. I just had the beats playing.
It's
I had
scary.
them all memorized. Yeah.
It's scary getting up there, bro.
It's like winging a meeting, and he fucking aced it.
Yeah, they won't record it, so it's just beats playing, and I'm off of memory.
Yeah, when people are standing away from the stage, you're just like, bro, and you don't want to be like,
motherfucker, move in.
Yeah, because
then you're just like, damn.
You
Like,
don't want to have to make people do that.
and
shit.
that's the beauty of the ground game, bro. I never have to do that anymore at this stage, bro. I have at least 50 to 100. Now it's actually a lot more than this. But you always got to have that 50 people in your pocket who are going to come up to the front of the stage.
Be that crowd.
And they can break that ice.
Right.
If you don't got that and everyone's like staying like 20 feet
People
back,
gonna
and you're just
stay that
like,
way,
come on up.
It's interesting because he was the opener, so that's the opener always has to break the ice well. I feel like the person who's closing it down, the real headliner, you can just come in, what up, bitches? And it's just like the momentum's already fucking there. Y'all ready to fucking rock? And it's like
sometimes it depends on, like, you can get some underground shows where like even the headliner like they thought they were gonna be the headliner, so they don't gotta do a lot of like legwork and like bring their own people out. And sometimes you'll get like 8 people on a show and like 15 people watch the first act, then those people leave. 15 people watch the second act, those people leave. 15 people, like, people come in and they cycle in and out. And by the time I've seen headliners have like 15 people in front of them because they thought that they're the headliners, so they don't got to do anything.
Yeah,
for it.
see?
The stupidest mindset ever.
Stupid. Do the work.
Do the work, bro.
Like Kim Kardashian said.
Straight up.
Anyway, the next question is from Leah Nerone.
Wow, who's that?
Hell if I know.
a fan.
Anyway.
She must not be relating to me.
And her question is, what's been the hardest challenge you and your band have overcome? And I think we got this question more than once, actually. So I thought it was very important we asked.
The whole time is a challenge. That's the beauty of it all. Like, I mean, you think about, like, what's life, right? I mean, this is going to get a little bit philosophical on you guys, but, I mean, life is a challenge in general. Like, it's just a list of problems that you got to kind of overcome. That's where all the fun is, right? Like, if there was never any problems, you'd never really be happy because you'd never have anything to compare it to. You'd always just be, like, never have to do anything. You'd be lazy, fucking off, and everything will be at your footsteps. You'd be like, okay, like, what do I do now? But, like, the fact of the matter is there's always challenges coming at the band to overcome, and that's the fun part. It's like, yeah, it's stressful in the moment. It's a lot, but we all get together and we find out ways to figure it out, and we figure it out, and then it's just steps.
Was there, like, a big thing that you guys had to overcome, or was there something that...
Not really.
No.
I mean, dude, it was like fate meeting the people I met. Yeah. I mean, whether it's meeting Jack and Chiff or everybody in the band, like, it's just amazing group. Like, you really got to meet them and see for yourself. Like, it's just the chemistry is there. We make really good music together, and we all make each other grow. I mean, so as far as challenges, I mean, there's always challenges. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is, so it's hard for me to decide. Like Battle of the Lands is a challenge, and we meet up. We make sure we meet up once a week at least. If it's a big show coming up, we meet up a couple times that week, maybe, or 2 weeks before, I meet up a couple times, and we just plan accordingly to whatever the next big thing is, and everyone has kind of what's their thing they're doing involved with this whole thing. And, you know, yeah, I mean, there's really not a big one overcoming challenge I can really put my foot on, you know?
I mean, did you guys ever at first struggle with leaving egos at the door? You know, people that would want to strut their stuff or kind of felt they had more of the momentum.
Was there
of the
anything
band?
that might have come up with, because the band's name or the group is Vince Nerone and the band. Was that ever a thing that you guys talked about, like the name?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, the way I like to look at it is everybody in the band is their own entity at the end of the day. So, like, if you're looking at like a business, I'm Vince Nerone, the business. Artie will be a business. Alex is a business, right? And my goal as they're signing on to Vince Nerone, right? And my goal is to make them happy to where they really have no other alternative that's going to be a better spot, right? So I'm constantly trying to make sure they're compensated, credited for their work, and, you know, there's really nowhere else they can go that there's somewhere better. So that's my goal. So, like, yeah, if you don't like playing for Vince Nerone because you feel like there's somewhere better, then, I mean, by all means, you can leave, and all I'm going to do is, I mean, granted, as friend-to-friend basis, I don't want any of them to leave. I love all of them. So, like, but if it's a business conversation, like, if one of them leaves, I'm going to say, damn, that sucks. I'm out a bass player. I'm out a guitar player.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. And they all understand, trust me, and believe that this thing is, they trust me and they believe in it, you know? And again, like, I'm trying to impact their solo business as good as I can, just like they're trying to impact my business. And again, I want all of us to win together. At the end of the day, that's my dream. So, and I think they would all agree on that. They're just good people, bro, really.
We like that. You're a good person.
Thank you.
I believe that.
I appreciate that, man.
Quentin is not a good person.
I don't pretend to be. No, I'm a great person. Stop
Get that itch to do bad shit. Anyway, on to the next one. We got one from Harley Davidson. What has the growing fan base had on you?
Yeah, I mean, I love that. Like, again, our first ever show, I think it was like 85 people, and I remember our goal was like 100. And if we hit 100, I would have been ecstatic, you know? And then going to like this last show, I was praying for like 250. And if I didn't get 250, I was going to be sick. And I think we literally, I'm not even fucking kidding, sold 250 tickets on the dot. And, but there's also people on the guest list. There's people who are at soundcheck that aren't part of the band who were also in the crowd. So at the end of the day, it's probably more like 275 once you look at it all. But and as far as being in front of us, but we sold 250 tickets, so I hit that goal. But it's just funny to see that. Sorry, excuse me. Beer, man. Like,
oh, shit.
It's only been 13 months or 13 or 14 months since I even started this whole live show band thing, and to go from praying for 100 to hoping for 250 and almost getting close to 300 as far as a presence and people really knowing the music and we're all getting better at performing. And, you know, with the growth and with the growth of these numbers is growth of like core supporters. There's a difference between people who just show up for the first time and maybe they're friends of friends. And then there's the core, you know, of like people who really know us, who've been to a lot of these shows. So like growing with those people, I've met a ton of people, a lot of Artie's good close friends he's brought. I'm like I really know all of them by name. Yeah, I mean, we got a wedding we're about to do because of somebody who showed up. We were opening for somebody, and this couple, they really liked us, and we're gonna do their wedding now. They're really cool. So yeah, I mean, we're just growing with the fan base, you know. It's awesome.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but I remember a fucked up quote as a kid. It was like, a loyal dog will lick the peanut butter off your balls, but a loyal person will go get you the peanut butter.
Wait, what?
A loyal dog will lick the peanut butter off your balls.
Yeah.
But a loyal fan or person.
What's the saying supposed to mean?
I have no idea. I just remember my guitar person from school. I did School of Rock growing up, and he like told me that fucked up quote. Didn't make sense.
School of Rock. I want to get a vocal coach from that. Actually, anybody who's watching this, if you got vocal experience and you're actually got some data to prove that you're a good vocal coach, hit me up. I want to get that.
I felt so different from everyone when I was doing School of Rock. Not a lot of my friends.
Because you came to School of Rock with peanut butter on your balls every day. Fucking weirdo, man. What's wrong with you? Damn.
So I felt so great about it because I was like, nobody else I know is really doing this. My buddy Brian plays drums, I play guitar, but no one else I know is doing music at age 10. And then this fucking Jew from my Hebrew school, I see him doing vocal lessons, and I'm like, you motherfucker, this is my happy place.
No shit, he came and fucking...
Dude, his name was Jonah Riccinati. If you're watching this, Jonah, fuck you.
Fuck you, Jonah.
Ruined my one thing,
Jonah.
Dude. I had it all, dude. We were doing the AC/DC show. I told my parents after the AC/DC show, I'm done.
Yo, that's funny.
Is Jonah a common Jewish name?
I think so, yeah.
Because Jonah Hill's Jewish.
Jonah Hill.
Dude, definitely. I'm telling you what, I don't know what it is. Maybe just growing up, like, I can look at someone and just kind of know they're Jewish.
I guess that's like...
No,
Steer
definitely.
clear the Jew talk.
Hey, he's
Look,
Jewish. I don't know nothing about it.
Bar mitzvah, circumcised, all of it.
PR's like, yo, no Jews, no, don't.
No, bro.
There's too many Jews.
There's too many. We love the Jews around
well, no,
here, bro.
it's interesting because we got this kid named Joey Hirsch who was on, and he's Freshy's manager. What do you know? Jewish. Jews.
All right.
Dude. As it's coming, look, I'm saying this. Kanye dropped Who Runs the Music Industry? The Jews. I'm sitting there, and everyone's freaking out. I'm like, well, that's a no fucking brainer. I've known since I was little. The Jews are part of the people that run everything.
Runs Epic Records, if you didn't know.
I've known this for a while, bro. It's just, for me, I felt like Kanye was giving us our medal, and it's like, yeah, Jews run this stuff. No shit.
Harry was happy about all that.
Hey, bro, that's a good thing.
I have an eye for gold.
Let's go. Let's keep moving
on. All right, well, next question.
Next question.
I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and it's ringing.
They double calling you.
They double calling me. Oh my god, is that like emergency, low key?
You want to check that? It's fine.
No, it's just Rachel. How's she gonna see this? Actually, she was like on some. I don't know.
Okay, wait. Actually, we got another question, but
right,
I'm gonna wait.
Let's just keep going.
No, because since this happened, because I was kind of thinking of this anyway. I wanted to get a little bit more personal.
Oh boy.
So Rachel, that's your girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
How's that been? Has the the music, your focus on your career, has that put a strain on your relationship at all? I mean, you're ignoring her calls on the podcast. It's not good.
Oh, damn.
No, I mean, Rachel's a very, very awesome girl to be with because I'm definitely not I'm not an easy guy to be with because of my aspirations of what I want. And, like, it's just, I'm sure she's kind of complained about time, but not really. Like, she's pretty much, she knows what it is. I mean, she knows, she's with me for why is that funny?
She knows what it is.
Well, because I mean, like, we've had talks in the past where it's like, it's gonna be hard to be with, me who's like dedicating my life to this music, but she met me doing music. Like, she knows me for that, and like, she would never like pit me against the music, because first of all, I'm not gonna give up music. I'm not gonna give up. I don't want to give up her either. But like, it's just not a bad place for her to put me in, and also, she loves me for the music. You know what I'm saying? So she's just a really good person where she's easygoing for the most part. I mean, clearly we argue every once in a while, but she's definitely a great person to be with.
Is she mad that you steal her pearls to come out of the podcast?
Hey, bro, fun fact, these aren't my pearls, but they're not Rachel's either. We'll let you guys decide whose they are.
They're Harry's.
Fuck you.
All right, they're Shifts. Shifts. Shift brought the pearls for me. I like these. Actually, I steal them from him like every time before an event because I got to get my own. I always forget to.
I actually do fuck with pearls. I think more dudes should wear pearls.
Reminds me of Jacques Peterson.
I really fuck
baseball
with that
player.
shit.
Yeah. Shift's kind of the fashion director around here.
No, you can tell.
He got me hip.
You can tell. Shout out to Shift, man. That nigga's fly, bro.
Yeah, he is. He's fly.
All right. We're going to go to the next question. The next question is a general question for the three of us, and it's from ASHTJ. Shout out to the little cuz, Fuzz. No, never mind. Y'all didn't get that. It's all right. And this question is, what's your take on toxic masculinity in the red pill community? And this is funny because we've talked about this a little bit in the first episode. Involving the Andrew Tate shit. And I know, Vince, you said earlier a little bit about you being more in touch with the femininity and being more on the emotional spectrum and shit like that. So I know that this is kind of adverse to what you are, what you stand for. But what is your take on toxic masculinity in the red pill community? The red pill community is like, these guys, the Andrew Tate shit, they throw this thing around about there being a matrix that's out to get them, and if you're about masculinity at all, that the media tears you down and will eventually throw you in jail and shit like that. And the red pill community is about doubling down on toxic masculinity to break through the matrix.
I think people get too caught up in all this shit, to be honest with you, in general. Toxic masculinity is kind of a weird take because there's also toxic femininity. I mean, I think people get too involved in all these political things, whether it's left or right, and I'm so focused on me, right? Like, I mean, Andrew Tate, I've heard bad takes, I've heard good takes. People want to like get super polarized on him. It's just a waste of my time. Like, I like some things he said, but some things I'm just like, whoa. And that's just what it is. What else do you want me to say about it, really? Like, I got this music shit I'm working on, like. So, I think people get mad caught up in all the politics. It just seems to me like they're bored because I just don't got time for it all. I mean, granted, like, I like good takes. I watch TikToks. I watch good things, and I watch, there's definitely some influential people in my life that I see. But for the most part, like, what are we doing? We're trying to, it's an individual thing. That toxic masculinity is a big generalization, just like everything else is a generalization. Oh, you're a right winger or you're a left winger. It's a generalization, and people get so caught up in generalization. It's like, I'm about me, right? This is what I'm working on. Granted, I have my group of people that I care for and my family, and that's what I'm worried about. I think the biggest problem in culture today is just being focused on shit that really is out of your control. Like, if you want to worry about like being toxic, don't be toxic in your life to people. Like, what Andrew Tate? I don't know Andrew Tate. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
So do you feel like social media has created these trends that just form people to have opinions that have to be right or wrong.
It's helpful for certain groups.
So do you think as an artist, you have to maneuver through social media and have a right approach to not get caught up in the trends?
No,
Or do you think the best way is to be yourself?
about it. I mean, be yourself, be apolitical. I mean, there's really no point in me being liberal or conservative because no matter what I say on any stance, there's gonna be 50% of people aren't gonna like me for it. So what do I have to gain by saying this and that? Plus, when you cut people off with just two sides, like as if everybody who believes this one thing that falls under liberal or this one thing that falls under conservative is just paints them all in that one category and they believe all these other things, it's just stupid. Like, I believe a lot of things maybe you'd say are liberal, and I believe a lot of things maybe you'd say are conservative, but like, it depends on the situation, it depends on what it is, and that's just what it is. So to generalize, it's not helpful to anybody except for people up top who want to divide and conquer and put groups against each other to, whatever big games they're playing. I don't know. I'm just a fucking civilian, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's like for people way up, like, to deal with. And I think it's a game.
It's a big game of chess.
We like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting to that point in the episode where we're going to start wrapping up. And our next segment, maybe the most important segment, is the most important words of advice. So, Vince, this is where you speak right to the audience and you tell us something from your own life that you could sum it up in like a fortune cookie kind of way. The most important words of advice.
Fortune cookie? So we're talking like a quick phrase?
Yeah, but imagine you're a fortune cookie. It's your own fortune. Yeah. What
something
people would read.
Like, imagine you're speaking to young Vince out there who's about to embark on the same journey that you've embarked on. What is the advice that you would give him?
I would say, what I think you're afraid of not being safe, and I think I'm gonna have to make this more than a fortune cookie.
No, go ahead. Dude, rip away.
People around you and influences, parents, they want you to go with the safe route. They want you to,
stay in college, stay in school,
my
get
dad
the
was a
9 to 5.
construction worker, go do construction and stuff like that, which is great. I learned a lot in construction. I really did. But if there's something, it depends on if there's something pulling you to something for real and you think you could do it, and you got to be smart about it and really, actually put the work in and really, like, again, be smart about it. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody who wants to be an artist to go be an artist, because if you're not going to be smart about it, then you're wasting your time and everyone else's time and you're going to be upset. But if you do believe that you're good for something more than your average 9 to 5, jump for real and really go for it and build people who want and make people better through making yourself better. I mean,
say that last part again.
You can make yourself better by, for example, like making myself better by making everyone around me better. Like, again, if it goes back to, money goes where it's best, it's where it's treated best. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can win and you can win, you're going to want to work with me, and you're going to tell people that working with me was a good thing, and that's going to help me build with people who want to work with me in the future, and hopefully that's more avenues and you're going to get more opportunities, and it's a compound interest thing. Mm-hmm. So just build your team of people who you trust and you love, and, go do whatever you want to do, but make sure you're smart about it and really think about it.
Fate, man. There's destiny for you, man. You got to go chase it.
Demand the best out of the people around you, and in turn, you'll demand the best out of yourself.
I appreciate you guys so much. You guys do a great job. I really, since I started this off rip, I thought you guys have something really cool and something that's easy to watch. You guys ask great questions. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I love being here.
Thank you, man. We loved having you.
We didn't pay him to say that.
We didn't pay him at all.
I was not held hostage at all about that.
There was no compensation involved in this.
Before we wrap it up, tell people where they can get in contact with you, what you got going on in the future, and really what's going on with Vince Nerone here and the band.
Yeah, you can follow me at Vince Nerone on pretty much everything. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. As far as just streaming my music goes, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm not really on much, so you don't waste your time. We got a show in Mount Union, I think on the April 29th. We have a wedding that's not open invite. We're working on doing
it's open bar.
We're working on doing a little island tour. Nothing official yet, but somewhere along the lines of Middle Bass and Put-in-Bay. And you could be expecting probably a show on the sooner side, hopefully around March. if we can. Got nothing really in stone. We're working on kind of setting up our summer spots and maybe something a little earlier, but nothing for sure yet besides that Mount Union show. So, but we'll be there. You just follow me and you'll get some shit.
But as far as for us, you already know it's the We Important podcast. You can find us on all of the things under We Important. We'll be dropping this episode soon as I get it done. And some clips, some reels. I know you guys love those. And also our merch. Our merch will be coming out soon. Don't worry. It's coming back. There will be an announcement about it. I'm going to make Harry make a little video about it.
It is limited, though. The store won't stay open forever, so make sure you order that stuff when we drop it. First
Yeah,
5...
we kind of do them in capsules, so we'll see how it goes.
Also, I wasn't laughing at the merch. I was thinking about something else, so just know that.
I mean, I was offended anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't be offended. It was an accident. It was just
But-
bad timing.
That's all we got for episode 3, season 3. Vince, we close out every episode with just one word from our guest. So if you could just give us one word, the first word that comes to your mind, that'll be a wrap.
Important.
Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling? We've been holding this moment for you. Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling? We've been holding this moment for you. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams